Hey, what's going on, guys? I want to make a video talking a bit about the markets, where we are. Is it time to buy or is it time to sit around? And by the way, guys, if you do like the video, please do go and like and subscribe, share it with your friends, family, because it's going to keep you motivated if you do have there's more likes on there, right? So let's take a look on the spiders. First thing first, I'd like to see the weekly chart to see where we are in the markets. As we went through last week, I mentioned about, what, I have no bias, no long or no short. My bias was neutral. At present, still the same. I mean, I highlighted these two regions on here, which was a region of resistance, which actually became support, right? You see this candle going up, act as support, going up, support, going up. Now with this region, which was a region of resistance, which became support, now is going to become a bigger resistance, right? And down here we have a region of support. Now the question really comes down to is what's next, right? As I talk it week after week, I mean, if the market is going to set up, it's going to give you enough time to get in, right? Right now, what I do see on here, at least in the weekly chart, is there's going to be a lot more chip chop going on. I would not be surprised if it comes back to test this 260 level, right? I mean, under 260, there's going to be a lot of Armageddon going on. But as long as we go sideways, because if you look let's say if you look on the monthly chart, right, there's a lot of something like this. This flotation over here of what time is this? From December 2014 to July of 2016. Market didn't go anywhere whatsoever, right? And when it starts trending, it gives you enough opportunity to get in, right? I mean, let's say it goes over here, you miss out on this one, maybe you start buying it over here, you start buying over here, right? So once it breaks this consolidation zone, you have enough time to get in. So I would like to see something of a chip chop going on at least for another few more weeks, right? Um, and then take a look at where we're going, right? I mean, if you look on this structure, when we had this big chop going on over here, when we tried to break these lows, we couldn't, and then we had a nice rebound, had a nice up move, sideways consolidation, and then we had a nice up move from what, 220 to 280, right? So that's quite a bit of a move. So 60 points on 220. So how much is that? 60 points on 220. So that's about 27% move, right? That's quite a bit. Now, what we're looking for it to happen is a bit of digestion. I would not be surprised for it to try to do something like this, as I mentioned, for it to go sideways. That would be the best case scenario. Just wash out everybody who's trying to go long, go short, right? Just chop those people out, and eventually start to trending higher. So that's a weekly take on the weekly. Sorry, that's a monthly chart. Once again, on the weekly chart, no bias, no long, no short. If I had to make a bet between long and short, my bet would be short. But between the three options of going long, short, or neutral, my bias is neutral. When the time comes, I will take a look at a few how to go long on this name on the spiders. But even if you look on the daily chart, right? If you look on the 3-month daily chart, just a big wish wash chart. Let me see. Let's say a 5-year daily chart, right? So all this hoopla going on, right? I mean, we were in this zone before. Now we are back in this zone. So it would not surprise me for it to keep on going this way, right? I mean, if you look at 2014, 15, we are like in a big wish wash over here, right? Close to about 180 and 210. We are just going back and forth in this 130 point range, right? So this was something that I expect to happen. Now we'll just take a look on what might happen, but this is what's going to be my forecast. Things to go sideways, and you know what? Just chip chop around here, frustrate everybody out, and as I mentioned, when it's time to go long, it is going to give you a lot of time to get in. I mean, there's no point. I mean, if you take a look on this weekly chart, I mean, it gave you a lot of time to get in, right? I mean, it had these pullbacks, pullbacks, pullback, pullback before it trends up. So it gives you a lot of time to get in. So there's no rush for me to get in right now. At least that's what I see. I did talk about playing volatility last week. Personally, I didn't trade the volatility. However, if we take a look on last week when I was talking about October 19th, this is where it was a Friday. I was talking about volatility. It actually starts spiking from, we went from what, 52, 65 to 66. So about a 10-point move on $50. So a nice move on there. But it's really hard for you to actually trade this name or even hold this name. If you take a look on the intraday chart, right? You try to go take a look on this intraday chart. You know what? Yes, there is a pullback over here now, but when you buy it, it's not going to be an easy trade for you to get in, especially when I talked about October 22nd being this one. So you see, you know what? You try to long it, comes back in, it pops up. You try to buy it, it comes back in. It has this up move, comes back in. So it's not an easy trade to trade. You know what? If you have capital, there is nothing wrong with sitting in cash at this present time. If you want to go short, you know what? You possibly could. But there's not a lot of weight of evidence to go short all long because we are just in a chop region. I mean, if we can have some significant breaks, then possibly a short. But even if you look on the monthly chart doesn't really signify a short per se, right? For it doesn't really signify a short. I mean, we're still above these long-term moving averages. It's still trending on the upside. These long-term moving averages haven't really rolled over. So the bias is still going to be long, at least in the monthly chart, which is a long-term chart. But on the weekly chart, bias is kind of neutral on here, right? There's no point in getting into a name where you might get chopped off. Any questions, guys? Do like and subscribe the video. I'm just going to keep me motivated to make more for you guys. Any questions? Hit up on the comments. Have a good one.